Good evening, good afternoon, whoever you are in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene will find Mr. Kevin Grant, who has been recently instructed. He has not been told the reason why. He has not been told anything about the grander plans. However, he has merely been told he is being sent to Dublin, Ireland, and that eventually the truth will simply find him. Laying on the bunk that he has been presented aboard the Russian ship the Vesvutska, Kevin is restless. Frankly, you probably think the last time the bunk had a change of a mattress was when the Tsar was in power. But then again, it's not exactly about a matter of comfort. How is it? When one is lost amidst the churning seas, the tumult, it is hard even to hear one's inner self. It is hard to hear that voice in that place. So it is that as his eventual lapse into unconsciousness begins, Kevin, you will feel how to best express it. You'll feel a hand on your shoulder, even though you're lying down.
He'll look in that.
I beg your pardon?
He'll look in the direction, like whichever direction the hand seems to be coming from.
As you do so, you will realize that you are no longer laying in the steerage of the ship, deep beneath the bowels, but instead you are standing amid flowers, fields upon fields of flowers that seem to spread as far as the eye can see. Many of them are beautiful white lilies that are presenting their intoxicating aroma of the high summer. You stand in front of a great pagoda painted red, seemingly standing defiant amid the sea of white. Seated in the pagoda, towards its center, in what appears to be a meditative seiza, you will see the pictured man.
Kevin approaches and sits across from him.
I have often wondered, he will say in a low voice, a voice that seems to almost creak momentarily. Do you know what the value of silence is?
No.
Hmm. Oftentimes, the road that is walked, upon which you tread, a footprint is left, denoting the fact that you have walked there. However, in silence, should you walk the path, then it will be as if nothing but wind has passed over the ground. And in that moment, you are able to see with eyes unclouded by the footprints that we leave behind. Do you understand this lesson?
Maybe in my next incarnation. This is too bloody.
Yeah. Blood, death, new life. In the end, blood can be washed away, though oftentimes it may linger in our thoughts. The old man will open his eyes and he will say, but then again, we all have a path that we must choose. We all must consider our karma. We all must know that if we are deserving, that we may yet, as long as we draw breath, find the enlightenment we seek in this incarnation and not need to wait for the next.
They told me my burden was too heavy to be washed away in life.
He will contemplate and he will say, indeed. However, that would also richly depend upon the value of the life. Many people can accomplish in one lifetime through acts of selflessness. I can English today. through acts of selflessness what it will take others many dozens to achieve through toil or through ignorance.
I live as an instrument of the Brotherhood.
Yes.
In all other aspects, I am empty.
However, he will raise a finger and he will say, "Do not forget to live." You are being sent to a place that has in many respects fallen. Contemplates his next words very carefully. Fallen, not fallen from the light, but fallen from its path. A place where it is that the rampancies and the degradations of fate are ever manifest. You must know that is wrong. He will look at you with very old blue eyes and he will say, "You, Kevin Grant, will find your fate in that city, whatever it may be."
I've only ever been sent for one purpose.
He will say, "Indeed, when you are sent somewhere, holding the keys to the next step in your hand, it is only a matter of knowing when one must unlock the door." When you arrive in Dublin, you will present yourself to. He appears to contemplate for a moment. Yes, you should present yourself to the man named Saisho, the self-styled Ebony Dragon. He is. He contemplates. His approach is necessary but unfortunate. You are to present yourself to him and show all due respects. However, you are to see with eyes unclouded. I assume that you are capable of doing this.
If the will of heaven demands clarity, then it will act through me.
Heaven, the august personage of Jade, in his reverence, upon his jade throne within his jade palace, may he rule us for 10,000 of 10,000 for 10,000 to times 10,000 years in his benevolence. But I have no doubt that you will come to see a new fate. I have no doubt that you will come to see you. At which point you will be shocked awake by clearly the waves smashing against the side of the ship, physically rolling and heaving you.
Ugh. Ugh. Ah. He's he didn't really. There's not a lot of room to sit up per se, but he transfers himself to hunch sit on the side of the bunk.
Honestly, is this what they give you? Such dishonor.
We've had this talk. It's not about owning things.
But things are pleasant.
Their attachment.
Yes. And personally, I would rather have my backside attached to something comfortable than, oh my, these, oh my.
Well, you're in luck. We're headed towards somewhere that is absolutely chock full of earthly trappings.
Ah, I see. Perhaps then you will stop smelling like some kind of swineherd.
A shower is in order.
No, I would argue a shower is presented by the mandate of heaven.
You argue many interesting things.
It's what I do. I contemplate. For the record, he is roughly about the size of a normal kind of smaller domestic house cat. He's sitting he's sitting on the end of the bed.
I think I have some cans of tuna left if you're interested.
I'm not currently hungry, thank you.
All right.
I am contemplative. Why are we going so far away?
Why were we sent to the last dozen places?
I merely wish to hear you say it.
People need killing.
I would argue that death is needed everywhere. However, ultimately speaking, if this is the path that we must take, then he'll shrug. Perhaps I'll have better luck in your next incarnation finding you suitable enlightenment.
When I can acquaint myself with a library, I will.
You can read?
Gives him a look.
Honestly. People these days. They'd never look at us like that back in the era of the shogunate. No, we were feared and respected. We were seen as deities. But now we're seen as, I don't know, cuddle companions. I miss the old days.
Well, considering the cyclical nature of everything, I'm sure an age like that will come sooner or later.
Indeed. Hail the cat. He will just kind of say this as he sits up very, very tall for his, kind of preening almost. It's just like, yes. How much longer until we're meant to get there anyway?
Well, we've been at sea for a while. Maybe a day, maybe a few hours. I can't tell from down here.
Also, I'm led to understand that he hops down off the bed and he kind of paws the plate that you've left just kind of discarded on the small table. I'm led to understand that this borscht that they talk about is in fact food. Doesn't smell like food.
Doesn't smell like food you would eat.
I mean, yes. Well, yes. I mean, yes. Is there a difference?
Plenty.
Well,
At least humans, it keeps well, it's nourishing, and it does the job.
what? The job of giving you septic diarrhea?
Thanks. It was like the first day.
Honestly. Yeah. He seems to. He kind of half closes his eyes, and he'll say, "Oh, we are nearly there. Excellent."
I don't know how they're going to react to, well, your majestic presence.
Oh, should I make myself scarce again?
It's probably wise.
I see. Yes, I shall go back to the interdimensional plane wherein only feline thought exists and avoid borscht. This is an excellent plan.
I'm glad we're in agreement.
As he hops down from the table, he will disappear in midair. At which point there's a very loud on the door.
Yes?
Excuse me, Mr. Grant. I said that I'd let you know we'll be docking in approximately 2 hours.
All right. Thank you. And he starts to gather his few worldly possessions.
The cat's head will pop out of nowhere. You also need more of those. His head pops back into the mother. Before you left, you were given a business card that had an address on it. And you were told that when you made it to Dublin, you were to go there.
All right. He takes another look at the address.
It has a street name, and it is called the Temple of 1,000 Happinesses.
Okay.
As you stand up, once again, of course, God, the august personage of Jade, decides this is the perfect moment to hit the ship with another huge crashing wave.
Ah!
And clearly, God is testing you, and the test he has decided to give you today is a test of equilibrium. You will, spend a few minutes kind of getting yourself dressed and quote unquote ready as you look outside and see it's still very dark outside, like very, very dark. So you assume you're going to be docking just about as it hits dawn based on the looking through the porthole if you had to take a guess, though frankly if the mattress had last been replaced when the Romanovs were in power, you think that the windows were last cleaned when the Tartars ruled some of Russia. But eventually, you will be told once again that you are coming into sight of land and you should probably go up on the main deck.
He does.
You will see spread out before you the cityscape of Dublin as seen from the sea. So thousands upon thousands of burning lights, just being extinguished now as you come into the dawn of the day proper. The sunlight seems to wash away all of the needed luminescence. However, it replaces it with the sun's own brilliant, majestic radiance.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Eventually, almost painfully slowly, you are brought into the harbor proper. The harbor proper is abuzz. It is very, very active. It is, you see people of many different nationalities, many different credos and creeds crying their wares, making sure that people hear them and that the various different excuse me, that the various different wares being taken from the ships are brought to the correct warehouses, located in the correct places, etc., etc., etc. You are able to walk down the gangplank at last. It feels so good to have actual solid concrete beneath your feet again, being to the fact that you never knew when it was the ship would decide to hit another swell, and frankly, everything would decide to pitch itself sideways. So it feels so good to just be able to take steps on terra firma.
All right. First stop, a shower. Next stop, the temple.
Oh, and where do you intend to shower? The cat is now it's kind of on your shoulder.
Well, there's got to be a motel or motel-like equivalent somewhere.
Excellent.
And Kevin goes out in search of such a place.
Google Maps is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
You will eventually find a kind of the Irish equivalent of a Motel 6, which is indeed, it's Spartan and cheap, but relatively clean. The room itself is not large or well appointed. It has an old style television, and it has a comfortable looking bed and a rather clean bathroom that has a shower a shower and the other basic essentials.
Kevin enjoys his time here, although it is short.
Now remember, we must look our best.
I've got what I've got.
Well, attempt to look your best.
He actually bothers to straighten out his tie.
My God. I didn't think you'd do that for your own funeral.
To be fair, I'm not going to have a lot of say in my funeral.
I mean, I'd recommend writing it in your will. Must have tie slightly askew and off-center.
I'll take it under advisement.
Excellent. Okay. As you proceed to the Temple of 1,000 Happinesses, what immediately strikes you is it's not a temple. It's a complete misnomer. It is a giant casino.
Necessary approach, they said.
As you enter through the large double doors into the casino proper, you're immediately audibly assaulted via the noise of, you are lucky winner! the most racist accent you can possibly comprehend, clearly playing to the local foolishness of thinking that, oh, amusing Asian people. As you walk towards the reception area, you will see a set of twins, rather, a set of rather beautiful Asian twins who appear to be, you guesstimate, in their early 20s, who both look at you. And the one thing that is slightly creepy, they say in perfect unison, "Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the temple. How may we be of service?"
I'm here to see Saisho.
"I see, sir. What business do you have with Master Saisho?"
I'm expected.
"Oh." They'll check down, they'll look through. "Are you Mr. Grant by any chance?"
That would be me, yes.
"Oh, would you please follow us, sir?"
Can do.
They will lead you through the innermost section of the casino as they wend around hugging the wall. You'll see a number of people gambling despite the earliness of the morning. You smell food, probably really over greasy fried Asian food, you're guessing, in order to satiate the appetites of the masses and whatever else have you. You are then led through side series of panels, a paneled Faruka or Fukuku door. So essentially, the traditional paneled paper doors into another space, which it's essentially almost like you entered into a swimming pool dressing room. You know, the kind of where you have a number of areas for people to change their clothes. The twins will excuse themselves politely, and they'll return a few moments later holding a bathrobe.
I see.
"If you would not mind children, sir, we will happily escort you the rest of the way."
Sure. Look, for the record, I'm not armed. And he goes through the process of changing away from them. I imagine the facilities being described as they are, modesty's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll come back in the back room.
One of them will say, "We can have your clothing cleaned if you'd like while you're waiting, or while you're with the master." Oop, sorry, I just got a message. "Yes, sorry. We can have your clothing cleaned if you'd like while you're with the master."
I'd appreciate that.
"That's fine, sir." One of the twins will take the clothing, bow before she will depart. The other will continue to lead you on through a set of paneled doors. On the other side of the doors that bear the image of samurai in full regalia, preparing to go into battle, you will find yourself in a large room that has many different large circular wooden bathtubs on either side, in a very traditional style of the Japanese bath. And you'll see dozens of heavily tattooed Japanese men and women looking out at you from the baths. When I say heavily tattooed, I mean their entire physical, all the exposed skin is covered in symbols, symbology, leering faces of demons, dragons, and all other and sundry.
He does not make eye contact.
You are then led into another room through that room, which has the image of the battle that these samurai on the first door were preparing for. You see much blood being shed, the hail of arrows, etc., until the door itself is pushed open and wide. On the inside of this room, you see another circular bath that is set into the floor this time, as opposed to being above the ground. In which there are two completely naked figures, both female, both very attractive, who are once again covered in bodily tattoos. At the other end of the room, there is a high-backed chair. Upon standing directly in front of a huge golden dragon statue that is very, very tastefully done to circle around the room, with its head just above the chair in question. wherein you will see this individual is sat in the, oh, important point, in the mouth of the dragon statue, there is a sword. And if you would like to roll me intelligence mage lore, which I do believe I gave you on your sheet, you may identify it. It would be difficulty 4 because you are an Akashic.
Okay. And looks like intelligence 3 and mage lore scroll 3. So, all right, let's go for it. This will just be in the rolls room, right?
Yep, just in the rolls room. It's fine.
All right. 4 successes.
Okay. This is, and you heard rumors.
Yep, 4.
No worries. You heard rumors that this individual possessed this. It's one of what are called the Holy Seven, because the Akashics have 7 holy treasures, 7 of their greatest wonders, and this is one of them. It is called Senkume Naikidoke Nasukiji Raishun, which literally translates to the blade of the dragon at the edge of the void. Because you got so many successes, it was created during the Himalayan War. I take it you know what the Himalayan War is?
Yep.
Okay. It was created during the Himalayan War in order to stymie, because it eventually became a hilarious contest of the. It eventually became a hilarious contest between the Euthanatus and the Akashiana to see who would basically come back first, because it became a meat grinding conflict where no side could gain the upper hand. So what they did was they forged this sword to destroy the souls of their enemies so they would not come back through the wheel. However, it was considered to be so damaging and so soaked with yin chi that it is only now ever unsheathed in the direst of circumstances.
All right. In that case, Kevin will approach. He is particularly wary to people in the room.
He's particularly wary of people in the room.
Just because this person is very obviously the person in charge, and they've had a lot invested in them. So mistaking these 2 people for anything other than bodyguards, at least in Kevin's very straightforward and kind of brutal mind, would be an egregious error.
The individual in question, do you possess that? Because it is important in this particular situation. La 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 la. 1 moment, please. Yes. Would you like to roll me your intelligence etiquette, please?
Boy. One success.
Okay. I will give it to you. I should have set a threshold, but I didn't, so I will give it to you. The standard operating procedure is bow and do not look up until you are spoken to.
Okay. So he bows and does not look up until he is spoken to.
I trust that your journey was pleasant, Mr. Grant. He says in English.
Yes.
I am pleased to hear that. May we offer some refreshment?
Please, thank you.
What would you like? He snaps his fingers, and one of the women stand out of the bathtub. They will offer you a deep bow.
Considering Kevin's already most of the way bowed, he's already bowed over. He can't bow over any further. Water will be fine.
As you wish. Chikano, sakuna desu nakima. Nensiku nakekima. Dekimase. You don't speak Japanese, do you?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, you have fuck all idea what he just said.
They taught him how to do one thing, and that thing was fist.
Do you cast fist?
No.
He will look down again from his chair and he will say, I received. I must say, I did not receive an in-depth report as to why you are being dispatched to Dublin. I am interested to hear why it is that you are here.
Petition for aid in these troubling times. I am what was sent.
Ah, I see. So it is that they seek to see with clarity. They are always interesting. He'll stand up. He's not that tall. How tall is Kevin?
Kevin's about 5'10".
Yeah, you're about 2 inches taller than he is. And he'll walk down from the dais where he was sitting, and he'll say, "So, you are now here on a permanent basis or until recalled, I assume?"
Until the next place I'm sent, yes.
Fascinating. You must have questions. I must be the facilitator of the answers.
Very well.
The water is brought out to you, by the way.
Okay. He sips politely. Yeah, at this point, it's a question of just kind of sipping politely. Just because couldn't very well refuse it. So now he just kind of has this glass of water. But
I will point out from a cultural lore standpoint, because you have spent an immense amount of time in the East, even if you're not, you know, fluent in or spent a lot of time with people from the East, even if you're not fluent in their languages. Offering food and drink is a very big deal. They take hospitality very seriously. So in him offering you hospitality, he's saying you are under my hospitality, which means I'm not going to have you killed.
that is a great comfort to Kevin in these trying times. But he continues. What's the council's relative strength in this city?
He closes his eyes. The council. Honestly, it is admirable. They have thrown back no less than the Technocratic Union and an incredibly powerful Chan Chen Chi, or I believe the colloquial term is Nefandus. Yes, that is the colloquial term. So they are currently enabled in their ability to hold ground. The nominal leader of the Nine Mystical Traditions is a man by the name of Archbishop de Calvorne, an Archmagi of the Order of the Celestial Chorus.
And the Akashiana here?
There are several of us. Myself, my sister, my apprentice Camille, and a handful of others. Though currently we are busy holding off the Technocratic Union's advances into the Docklands, as that is where our key influence points reside, and also fending off Gaki and the other undead from their nightly attempts at revelry in districts we have claimed as our own.
I see. I will be nearby.
He contemplates and he
These
says, "Oh, sorry, continue."
typically Akashiana first, then the council.
Always. Have you located a suitable place to base yourself?
Found a hotel not far from here.
I was going to offer you a room here until you had found something more permanent, but if you have already found somewhere, that is agreeable.
I only paid for a few hours. I would be happy to reside here if you would have me.
You are welcome to it. Maishe. She will snap up and she'll say, Hai, Dono. Chikima, senki no nadaikimaske. Non chinama samaku. Haksakano krama. Once again, Hai, Dono. And she will bow before she will put on. I will point out both these women are entirely naked. Before she will put on a robe, tie it tight around herself, and leave via the same entrance you came in. I have made request that a room be prepared for you.
Thank you.
Go, see to your own comforts. I will have some food sent up. We shall talk more when you are rested and when you have regained yourself from the journey.
You have my gratitude. And he will bow again. And
he won't bow to the same depth. He will incline his head, however.
Okay. And once that bow has been recovered from, he takes a few steps backward so as not to be symbolically turning his back on this individual, and eventually manages to make the turn and leave.
One forgets, he will say. There is a local spot known as the Agrabah Nights. It is a restaurant owned by, I believe he's a Teftani. That is a local establishment where many of the magi of the city meet to congregate and socialize. I'll have the postcode, the postcode written and when with the meal that is sent up, so you can key it into your phone.
Much obliged. Before I go,
Hi.
Amongst the ones that they'd call my peer, who's the most aggressive?
Out of character, can you just explain to me what you're asking?
He's asking like who the lead killer is, basically, like among adepts and like other lower rank magi.
He'll contemplate that, kind of like, that's an interesting question. That is an interesting question. He appears to be giving it some very, very decent thought, and he will say, a man by the name of Owen Kilkenny of the Thanatos. Did you expect any different?
I can't say that I did.
But yes, that would be my assumption, he will say as he retakes his seat.
Thank you. And Kevin will leave to these fine accommodations.
Ah!
When the cat appears, I'm going to say that's the canonical response. Is, ah!
He does it when you enter the room, and it's a fabulous room that overlooks the city. Like there are almost cat tears running down his face, as this hotel room is comprised of 3 separate rooms.
It's not permanent. Enjoy it while you can.
You can see, and as we end our scene, we will end our scene with you sitting down to your first good meal you've had in a while, as a small cat literally rolls itself around on the incredibly soft carpet. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been an introduction scene for Darkness in Dublin.